Of course, it needs to be very strategic and specific type of content planning ahead. It's not that we translate everything and that's localized.
Welcome to the Multilingual Content Podcast, where experts discuss international content management, product localization, and global expansion. I'm Caterina from Undertow, and today our founder Nicola Calabrese will be talking to Nicoletta Dorizzi, Senior Global Performance Marketing Manager at Inriver. With over 10 years of experience in marketing and communication, Nicoletta has a wealth of knowledge in managing global campaigns, tailoring content for diverse markets, and utilizing localization to drive demand generation. In this episode, they will explore how Inriver balances global brand consistency with local market relevance, the role of generative AI in transforming multilingual marketing strategies, and key trends shaping the future of B2B SaaS companies. Whether you are a marketer, product manager, or founder looking to expand internationally, you will gain actionable insights to elevate your global strategy. So let's dive into this amazing conversation.
Hi, Nicoletta, and welcome to the Multilingual Content Podcast. How are you today?
Hi, Nicola. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very happy to be here and speaking with you.
So, before we jump right into the topic, would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself and your role in Inriver?
Yeah, so I've been working in marketing and communication for over 10 years, and I bring a lot of experience within the Inriver team. Since 3 years, I'm in Inriver. I started my career in sales and marketing for an EMEA region in a more medical equipment manufacturer, and then I moved on to Shell, Unilever, Inter-IKEA System, many big enterprises. But now I'm happily in Inriver, and as a senior manager for global campaigns since 2021. And I take care about demand generation strategy, global campaigns, also localization, and market positioning and strategic planning and data analysis.
So as you might know, in this podcast, we like to explore the challenges and the best practices for managing multilingual content. And as you said, you're in charge of global campaigns. So my first question will be, what are the key steps that you take to understand the local market and its unique needs before launching in a new region?
This is a very interesting question since Inriver is continuously expanding and looking at new regions. So first of all, what is most important is to conduct a thorough research, to gather insight, market research about the local market, the customer preferences, the cultural nuances, but also the competitive landscape. Customer feedback also in that market, it's very important. So you can run, once you started penetrating the market, thorough surveys, focus group, and interact with them to understand as well how we are doing in that local region. And most importantly for me, I think that the local partnership to collaborate with really partners that have a deep understanding of the market, it's very important. And this brings valuable insight and also brings a lot of credibility for a new market.
And what are the biggest challenges you've encountered when localizing your marketing strategy for different regions, and how did you overcome them?
So first of all, I work globally. And we see that in US, for example, we don't have so many difficulties also in penetrating new region there because there are less cultural differences, while it comes to EMEA or also in the future in Southeast Asia and so on, there will be much more cultural differences. So this is the first step, for example, to understand and make sure that your content, your marketing strategy really resonate with the local audience. And also maintain globally brand consistency. Therefore, for example, in our German market, we continuously translate, do local partnership, we do local events, but of course maintain overall our brand and our messaging in a consistent way. Also, for example, PR can really help in the local markets. It helps with journalists to fit the specific taste and use also local partners, as I said. But another also challenge will be regulatory compliance, which is very different despite we are in EMEA. In many different locations, there are different regulations and standards also that our marketing and needs to understand and adheres. Also, local competitors, it's another big challenge. So you really have to understand the regional market and how you are playing and analyzing correctly the local competitors and tailor the strategy and find your sweet spot where you can penetrate and avoid weaknesses and threats. And so cultural differences, regulatory compliance, and I would say also local competitors are quite some challenges to think of.
So you mentioned like you rely also on local partners. You have your internal team working on the content as well. You mentioned like one of the challenging things is to find the balance between like a global brand, but also like a local relevance. So how do you do that? Do you have any specific, let's say, style guides or tone of voice guides, or how do you face this challenge basically?
Yes, so we maintain our brand identity globally, and we have a cohesive and consistent messaging. What we localize, it's, for example, on a segment, our type of campaign, whether it's more on apparel in a certain market or whether it's more manufacturing industrial in another. We tailor more our campaign strategy and content, of course, also with translation, and continuously also working with our local partners to understand also what the local audience is most needed. Not everyone, especially in tech, is on the same level of awareness or understanding, for example, of a PIM solution. So we really need those local partners and our sales rep to really gather information and understand. And then we reflect this, maintaining still our corporate identity, our tone of voice, how we present ourselves, and our content.
And what role does localization play in lead generation in all this?
So it is effective for lead generation, and we see that the more tailored specific content that enhance the relevance in that market, the best performing is. So when we co-produce an ebook, for example, a campaign asset with our local partners, or where we can leverage a customer that is well known in that specific market, for example, in France, we have Michelin, that it's one of our key also testimonial. It really engage the local audience, and it really reflects and plays a crucial role for us. So it builds trust as well. So the more content you localize and demonstrate that the brands understand and also respect the nuances of the culture, of the language, build the trust and credibility, as well as being there in the local events and have this one-on-one approach. It's also very important in certain market, really. It's not only digital, but it's still a lot of also in-person events to create that local partnership and introducing your brand in a new market. And also SEO is very important. So localized content that improves search engine optimization in different markets, that drives organic traffic. It's very important, brings much more visibility, attracts more leads, also locally. So translation also plays a big role here. So it really affects positively the lead generation strategy.
And actually, you mentioned SEO, and I'm curious about like the keyword research phase. Like, how do you balance, again, like you cannot basically just translate, let's say, the keywords that work in English, you cannot just translate them in different languages and expect them to have the same results. How do you balance like doing research from scratch and maybe leveraging, let's say, overlapping topics between different markets?
Yeah, so we work specifically with an agency that continuously provide also feedback loop in improving SEO and how specific keywords can be tailored more for specific markets. Yeah, we are increasing year over year our SEO and organic traffic. And again, also customer feedback in the new market are very important, but also we rely a lot on our local partners as well. So yeah, that's the key.
And when it comes like to measuring the results and the outcomes of your campaigns, like what metrics do you use to evaluate how effective the localized marketing campaigns are, and how do they differ across regions?
Yeah, so we use engagement metrics, so the usual click-through rate or the time spent on page for our localized landing page, our localized content, and this provide a good already understanding how it is performing for us. Inriver saw a 42 year-over-year increase on website traffic, specifically also for a market like France or Germany. In this, it's indicating a strong commitment and also engagement with localized specific content. Then the conversion rate, of course, we saw effectiveness in our localized market through conversion of highly specific and tailored content. For example, within Germany, we go a lot with industry-specific type of campaign and assets, whether it is for construction, so industrial manufacturing, where it is for building companies or car and automotive. So you really have to tailor and localize and then review the conversion rate, and we see a big improvement. SEO performance, of course, brings a lot of value. We report a 62% increase in non-branded organic website clicks from 2022 to 2023, also showcasing our localized SEO efforts. And also continuously tracking the growth of our sales pipeline, of our marketing pipeline. It's our key matrix as well.
And if you were to look at because obviously you mentioned correctly that you're tailoring the strategy for the different markets. So if you were like to give an estimate of how much content you create from scratch, let's say for Germany, that doesn't exist in English because it's so specific to Germany, and how much you actually localize from the English and translate and adapt it into German, what would be the ratio?
I have to say, it doesn't take so much effort to localize nowadays, also thanks to AI, but specifically, we don't localize and change our content completely from English. What we do is really we tailor and we use our testimonials and our customer cases within an asset. So I would say every single asset that is English global would have really tailored example of an industrial manufacturer in Germany that is our customer. So I would say a great 40% of all our assets will be redeployed and rethought with a more content localization and use cases testimonial that will really speak to that market. That's very important. We have so many also customer testimonials to leverage, very big brands that can help really. Inriver brings that local nuance, not only in language, but also in the culture, in specifically how they showcase the use of Inriver PIM within their organization that can reflect also how other local brands can work. It's very important. So it's quite high, but again, thanks also to modern ways of working, workflows, and AI, doesn't really take so much time. Of course, it needs to be very strategic and specific type of content planning ahead. It's not that we translate everything and that's localized.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. AI can help, but that's like at the end of a process where you set the strategy, decided what pieces of content need to be localized, and like how to localize and how to insert something that makes it more relevant for their local market. So I completely agree with that. Yeah. And if you're looking ahead, like what trends do you see influencing localization and international marketing strategies for B2B SaaS specifically in the coming years?
That's a great question. So I think generative AI continuously grow more and more and influence how a marketing company, a marketing team, and a B2B SaaS company will grow and will work with it. It's really a moment where you can piloting and adapt or being disrupted. So there is no exemption in B2B digital companies and SaaS that if you don't adapt, you will be disrupted. Then another trend that I see very important is focus more and more on customer centricity, both on a short and a long-term goals. It's very important in B2B that customer centricity becomes really the North Stars for long and short-term goals. And also boosting continuously the digital maturity, also of the marketing team, of the company itself is very important. So the more mature also the company is digitally, the better framework empowering also your customer and also your prospect will be and will bring much more revenue and growth. So even a tech SaaS company in B2B that's continuously also internally to develop the digital maturity. And then also in a B2B, at least SaaS company that are for commerce, the composability becomes much more there, especially I see also in the future. So composable technology will play a big role, and we leverage solution with very low no-code commerce solution, and will be a key player also, together with implementation partners and accelerators that I was talking before, that will also play a big role continuously. So yeah, these are big trends that I see continuously going in the future.
Going back to the AI that you mentioned, the generative AI, would you mind like giving some example maybe, or how you're using it in Inriver, or what are you testing?
Yes. For example, we are experimenting a lot with video making, video creation of short snippets, whether I take a long interview with a customer and I streamlined and add in some slide that I created with AI graphics, and help really to make it more fun, personalized, and also more substantial, creating videos with short snippets, as well as we are reviewing a lot of our content also with AI and with the large language models. We are also translating some of them. Of course, there is always the need to check and review carefully, but sometimes also to streamline certain type of content that maybe it's used in different format, from a blog to a social post to a short email. AI can help, but of course we always also bring our human touch and our knowledge in, but in just also drafting or also creating a framework for a campaign planning, and the workflows and who needs to do that can also be really done easily with some AI tooling for planning. And I personally like a lot also the Microsoft tool that is called the Loop, for also internal planning and marketing workflows.
Oh yeah, I mean, I do agree. You always need like the human in the driving seats, let's say. But it's interesting, like, so my understanding is, so with the AI, generative AI, you're getting like, you have to spend less time on execution, so you have more time to dedicate to strategy and planning. Is that correct?
Correct. And also you can test the different formats that maybe with an external agency would take 1 month or 2 months to produce. And you can really also start playing not only with videos, but also with voiceovers, with different translation, with shorter formats, blogs or articles, and also with different visuals. So it's really a test and learn, but definitely it's an efficient way, and also to streamline the workflow within a small marketing team like we are, for example, to really reach and engage the most of audience that will like also different formats and different type of languages and information.
And do you have anything else that you think you would like to mention about like the in general marketing and the trends within the B2B SaaS that you think will affect international presence?
At this moment, well, we are constantly, again, doing research and monitoring the competition. Of course, it continuously develops so fast, B2B tech SaaS company. So there are always new roadmaps and needs for customers. And sometimes the winning one is the company that develops further and faster a specific solution to that problem. But yeah, I think regulatory can also play a bit quite a role in the future going forward, but that is also not only for a SaaS B2B company, but sustainability and then all the leveraging of generative AI will be still, in my mind, the key drivers. And then, of course, for every company will be the running towards making the most ease of use your product, the more land and expand type of strategy within a company that can be, for example, more usable and more easy for many, many different type of people within a company. Like I'm talking about PIM. What is very important is that not only we develop a tech solution that it's specifically with a certain type of group, but that we expand the use cases and the importance within a company of this solution and product. and always be there understanding what is the next struggle of a company that we can really solve. What is the challenge going forward in 2025 when it comes to e-commerce, online sales, and the digital shelf that we can really help.
Okay, so I think that was a great conversation, Nicoletta, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today. The Multilingual Content Podcast is powered by Undertow. We help companies translate their content into results. Get in touch if you want to know more. And if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new episode. See you next time.